Welcome back to Mystery Rift. Folks, I can't tell you what the big surprises are going to be this year, but they're big. They're bold. And they are unprecedented. There are only two people who really know the truth behind the curtain. And that's myself. And the person managing the next great expedition. And that's it. It's huge. That's all I'll say about it. Huge. But today, we're going to talk about two disappearances. Both of them are inherently strange. Both of them are truly bizarre. And both fit firmly into the patterns we've been tracking for decades in the missing 411 research. We're examining the ultimate logic failures of the wild, where official narratives simply collapse under the weight of the facts. The wilderness always keeps its secrets. The first case happens in southern Oregon. I heard about this a long time ago. But the unsettling facts didn't really come out until much later. And once those facts did emerge, they were genuinely mind-numbing. This involved a man named Charles Levin, 70 years old. He vanished around June 28th, 2019, from his rental home in Selma, Oregon. The official date remains frustratingly ambiguous. Now, you might recognize the man. He had a stellar Hollywood career, a true working actor in Nanny Hall, Night Court, and The Golden Girls. He was a comedic powerhouse, someone who could make even the most stone-faced person break character. My favorite episode of Seinfeld, God rest his soul. Charles involved him as the Mohel in the Briz. He was unbelievably great. He was driving a 2012 bright orange Fiat, a compact little car, quite conspicuous for the deep Oregon wilderness. He was preparing to move from Selma to a new place in Cave Junction. His son reported him missing. Deputies found his house packed up, ready to go. But the unmistakable orange Fiat was already gone. They knew something was terribly wrong. Here's where the true mystery begins. Deputies secured his cell phone data. It was last pinged in an extremely remote area northeast of Selma, the precise opposite direction from Cave Junction. This is classic missing 411 terrain, dense forest, high elevation, black bears, and mountain lions. It's deep wilderness, right near the Oregon Caves National Monument. An unrelated local searcher, and this happens time and time again, went out looking. He found the bright orange car about 2 miles from a paved road. He said he couldn't believe a Fiat could navigate that old, dilapidated logging road. Deputies tried to drive their robust vehicles in. They failed. They even got an ATV stuck. The car was positioned on the edge of a sheer 30-foot drop. When they opened the door, the odor of decaying flesh hit them immediately. They expected to find the body of Charles, but he wasn't there. Instead, inside the car, they found his beloved pug companion, deceased. The doors were closed. The car was completely locked down, securing only the body of his faithful dog. The next day, the search resumed. What they found was truly perplexing. Near the car, they found a pile of men's clothes. They were later determined to be not Charles's clothes. Whose clothes were they? Why were they staged there? The reports are absolutely silent on this disturbing detail. This is what we call surplus clothing in our research. Later that same evening, 30 feet below the car, down the steep decline between two trees, Charles was discovered. Naked, deceased. The body showed signs of heavy predation. The chest cavity had been eaten through. The majority of his organs were gone. A grim but common discovery in deep forest cases. The coroner's ruling was immediate and completely unsatisfying accidental death, no foul play. Not suicide, just accidental death. I have never heard that. How can a naked body found miles from where he intended to be, with a separate set of unknown clothes nearby, be ruled a simple accident? The official theory is weak. It's practically non-existent. He told his friend he was near Cave Junction. He was nowhere near Cave Junction. He was found near his house, on a road the deputy said was impossible to drive on. Why was he found naked? Why the pile of clothes? These are the elements that place the case squarely into the missing 411 category. The kind of logic that only the wilderness accepts. Let's move on to the second case, a Wyoming case. This state is a recognized epicenter for these baffling disappearances. This involved Mark Clevenger, 22 years old. He vanished on September 15th. 1980 from a remote seismic testing camp near Carter Mountain at an elevation of 400 feet. This is high altitude hunting country, around 300 a.m. Following an argument, Mark put on his coat, jeans, and boots and simply walked off to cool down. It started snowing lightly that night. He never returned. The team searched, found nothing, and eventually called the sheriff. As a deputy, you have to ask, did these guys have something to do with it? They left him out there alone. The initial search was comprehensive. 20 searchers, 6 people on horseback, a corporate-funded helicopter. But after 2.5 days, the sheriff called off the search. Here is a pattern that infuriates me. No canines were ever used. They never deployed scent dogs to track a 2-year-old in the snow. Why? It makes absolutely no sense. About a week later, a rancher made the first discovery. He found one boot, a fairly nice new boot. Then he found another boot in a different location. The boots were confirmed to be Mark's. They were found 5 miles from the camp. Why were they taken off? Why were they separated? This is a classic disrobing event. The sheriff interviewed the entire crew again and administered polygraphs to every man. Every single one passed. Their story was solid. They revealed Mark had consumed beer and some drugs that night. Was this a factor? Perhaps. But it doesn't explain the impossible journey he allegedly took next. Over a year later, on October 31st, 1981, a hunter made the discovery. Skeletal remains were found. Right next to the body was a checkbook belonging to Mark. This is too convenient, isn't it? The checkbook is found to immediately confirm identity. Yet the body was missed by 2 professional search parties. This begs a larger question. Why did it only appear now? The final staggering detail, the boots were found 5 miles from camp. The skeletal remains were found 5 miles from camp. That's a 3-mile barefoot journey in the dark, in the cold, over rocks. After removing his boots, I find that degree of survival highly improbable, unless something else was guiding him. The coroner ruled the cause of death as exposure. Friends, You can't make that determination when there are just bones. It's an easy, lazy guess for the public. These two cases, Levin and Clevenger, are textbook, missing 411. The illogical circumstances, the missing clothes, the improbable movement, and the complete failure of the initial search. The silence of law enforcement in these cases is deafening. They close the books, but the questions remain wide open. The missing answers are just as important as the missing person. Be safe, be kind. And remember to always question the official narrative when people vanish in the wild. Paulides out.